everyone, it's Kim Redding, and I'm here at Argyle ISD with Dr. Carpenter. She's the superintendent of Argyle ISD, and she is letting us sit with her and talk to her about the growth and everything that's happening here. So people that are moving here or wanting to learn more about Argyle, this is where you're going to learn it from. So thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here.
So there's been tremendous growth here in Argyle ISD. So how have you handled that, and what do you think about it?
Well, I think first and foremost, when families move here, we always like to ask them why Argyle, and they will tell us it's a school district.
Right.
You know, we're a school district that has 35 square miles to it, and a lot of people don't understand that because for so many years, the town of Argyle is about 11 square miles. Okay. So that's what everyone really assumed was Argyle ISD, and we have 5 municipalities. And so when families think about moving to Argyle, it's because you always hear it's because of the school district.
Right.
I think we have a stellar reputation. I know when I had the opportunity to consider seeking the superintendency job in this district, it was because it was Argyle. It wasn't just because it was an open job. It's because of this district and what I knew about this district in my 25 plus years of education. So I think knowing that it's one that we call a destination district. If you hear that, you know that because we are built on a foundation of strong core academics, but also fine arts and extracurricular activities. And I think those are 3 things that really set Argyle ISD apart from a lot. We tend to do a few things really well. And I think that's what families like in this district, especially when they're thinking about that small town family atmosphere.
Well, and that's a good point. You are a small town surrounded by big cities. So how do you keep that? Like, how do you keep that focused when you are around Flower Mound and North Lake and all these other places?
So I think that's a great question. One of the things that really intrigued me when I came to Argyle ISD was the vision of our school board. Mm-hmm. Our board of trustees had a vision set forth of really preserving that small town atmosphere as we were growing, and doing so by the configurations of our campuses and making sure that our schools didn't get too big to lose that family atmosphere where parents felt involved. And so when I came to Argyle ISD, I was able to take that vision that they had already adopted and set forward and start putting into fruition. So we know exactly the size of our campuses, our smaller middle schools, smaller high schools, and all of that's a change for a district as you're growing, but it does preserve those core academics and extracurricular programming that make this district so great.
I agree with that. And that's another thing that you were talking about, like people are moving here because of the school district. And that's what I see too, is they look up schools first and then what's the area. How do you contain the massive growth, or how do you handle that? Like looking forward to when you look in the future and everything from 5 to 10 years now from when we grow.
I think the first thing is we have to be sure that we are very proactive with our demographer reports. And we all know that, you know, studying the demographer reports, things can change. Right. Obviously, economy can change and different pieces to that. But more importantly, they understand the neighborhoods that are coming, the developments that are there, the futures. And so we have to be sure that we're studying that on a regular basis, and that we're trying to be proactive in terms of, just like our upcoming bond in May 2025, you know, we know land acquisition is incredibly important to this district. We currently have all of our land except for one parcel has buildings built on them or in progress. Okay. And we know that we're going to have schools coming in the future that will need land. And so the land acquisition is incredibly important. So we have to be futuristic enough to know that we're going to have an X amount of elementaries, an X amount of middle schools, an X amount of high schools to go out and look for those when our bond dollars are available for us.
Okay, so then how can we as a community support you with this growth? Because we've seen it where people haven't been able to support different communities and different school districts, and we don't want that here in Argyle. So how can we help support that?
I think when everybody pulls together and understands that we want excellent educational opportunities for our students that are currently in school to match those that came before them, but also those students that are not even here yet. And I think when everyone can come together and understand that, then we all know that we want the best opportunities we can for our students. We want our class sizes to be manageable and even smaller than they currently are. We would love that. But also to have those robust programs, those fine arts programs, those athletic programs, our robotics type programs, those programs that have made this district so successful. We want our students to be able to have those same opportunities. And so being able for everyone to focus on those things and what is good for our kids right now, but also what we want for the future as students that come to this district is when we will all band together.
Well, and the quality of educators that you have been like they've been here for so long. And so that speaks volumes for somebody that has least amount of turnovers and that people want to be in this district. So it's been really nice to see. For the future growth for Argyle, is there anything that you want to see as far as the schools and as they develop?
So, we're scheduled in the next 10 years to have over 11,000 students.
Wow.
And that will be about an 86% growth rate from now until 2035.
Wow.
So we know that that's coming. We know the growth is coming, and it's our jobs to be proactive in planning for that. We don't want our schools overcrowded.
Right.
But at the same time, we have a community-led bond committee that really has worked hard over the last several months, creating an opportunity and a package that's long range. They want us to be proactive. They want to give us the opportunity to do that.
Right.
And so with that opportunity, if a bond package is successful, then we're able to, as the growth comes, take those projects and put them online so that we don't get to behind in trying to open a school that's already overcrowded, which has happened to us in this district already.
Okay.
We opened JRE, Jane Russman Elementary this year, already at capacity.
Oh, wow.
And so it's, we seem to do that. We seem to have done that in the district in the past with South and also with West.
Right.
And so this hopefully will allow us to be a little more proactive in getting those facilities online earlier so that we're not overcrowding our campuses by the time we open them.
So if somebody's moving here, how do they learn about information about the school district? What do y'all offer as far as someone coming in and wanting to learn more?
So I think that's a great question. One of the things we like to do at the beginning of the year, we have our Eagle Bash, which is all of our new families that are coming in, and they have students that are going to be a part of the district. That started 2 years ago. We have had incredible turnout at that event every August. And one of the things we do there is we kind of showcase our campuses, but we also like to kick off some of the ideas that we have in terms of like our Eagle Ambassador campaign. We like to sign up community members to come in. They don't even have to have children in the district. But it allows them to have kind of a behind the scenes picture, if you will, of all the departments. They get to learn all the things curriculum and instruction, all things finance and resource stewardship, all areas. And we like to bring them in there. We have our Silver Eagle program, which is our community members that may have grandchildren in our school.
Well, I
don't
love
have any
that.
children in our
awesome.
schools. And so those are all types of ways we want to bring people in to help them get to understand, especially if they're out of state, because K-12 education in Texas can be very different than a lot of our other states that we have families moving in from. And so we like to educate them and inform them in ways that are just specific to Texas so they can understand whether that's the public funding side and the legislative advocacy side, or even just course credits and graduation requirements in Texas.
Well, I love the transparency. So it's easy for somebody to come in, look online, look up Argyle ISD, and just find the way they learn best, I guess, to find the information as far as how, does my child fit here and what part do they fit in? And then there's also different avenues, I guess, from the Eagle Bash all the way up to the seniors, which I love, for someone to follow along. Okay. So what is important for somebody when they move here? What is their first step to do? Like, what do you want them to do?
I think for families that are new to the district, and even if they don't have students in school yet, or maybe they're moving here and it's their grandchildren, reach out to our communications department. We sign up anyone to our newsletters. They don't have to be affiliated with the district at all. They can be signed up and they can get our mass emails. They can get my newsletter. They will get all of our social media accounts. So definitely follow our social media accounts. We have the district account. And then I also have a superintendent Facebook page that I do a lot of content on that I started this past spring or a few months ago. And so we try to put a lot of information out there for our families. And even that way, those that aren't here yet can see those through social media platforms states away.
That's fantastic. Y'all do so much that everybody, it's just open and everybody can see it. So that's really, thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. Tell us a little bit more about your special programs and what they have to offer here for Argyle.
So a lot of times we will have families move in and their students may be served in a wide variety of programs. It could be a gifted and talented, it could be special education, it could be 504. So we offer all of those. Bilingual education, that number are growing. We serve over 30 different languages currently in Argyle ISD. So we have all of our special programs, and we run that through our special programs department here at the administration building. And then each campus have the teachers and the different program developments on their campuses to serve our students in the various spectrum of that.
I like that. So there's something here for everyone.
Absolutely.
Love that. And I love that you keep the small town feel. And that's so hard to do. I wish other people could see how hard that is and how hard y'all work, because I enjoy watching the progress that it's happened over the years and how we are still surrounded by big cities and we're still keeping it small.
I think one of my favorite events is our homecoming parade. And we have a carnival right over here at the high school campus. and it is full of elementary students across the district from 4 different elementaries, and of course our middle schools and our high schools. But it's a true community event that we have over here every year, and it's just full of families from all different states that have moved in, and all different. They come and they figure out what it's like to be in Texas on a Friday night for a Friday night football game.
Yeah, Friday Night Lights in Argyle, Texas.
Right.
What are your upcoming projects and initiatives for Argyle?
Bond 2022 had a series of projects in it, and we are on actually our last part of that as far as fulfilling that for our community. We just opened Elementary 4, which is Jane Russman Elementary, and we are currently building middle school on 407, so that will be opening in the 2026 school year. We also have the stadium and the indoor activity center over here at the Canyon Falls High School site, and that was also part of the bond of 22. It will open in 2025. And then elementary number 5 is slated to open in 2027. And then this spring, we have a current bond election on the ballot for the May election, and that is also addressing the next 10 years worth of projects, which is elementaries, middle school 3 planning and designing, land acquisitions, as I mentioned, as a need, technology infrastructure, and then baseball and softball over here at the Canyon Falls site.
So on land acquisition, because we're small, is important.
It is important.
Okay.
Yes, it takes about 12 acres for an elementary site, about 35 acres for a middle school site, and anywhere from 75 to 115 acres for a high school site.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot of acres. Well, and then the next question I have is just to understand how again, as you do these projects, do y'all get your information, and everyone, how do you share it with the community?
When a bond election happens and the bond passes, that is just the authorization of those bonds.
Okay.
That's not the issuance or the selling of any of those bonds. So the district does not take on all of that debt at one time. You only take that on as the growth needs it, and the taxable values provide for that. So when a bond passes, then you look at the demographer report, you look at is it staying on track for the growth? Do you still need, like we already know, elementary 7 would be needed in this particular year based on our demographer numbers right now, but we watch that because each year it could either fluctuate,
Right.
a little bit faster or a little bit slower. And so that demographer report and then our financial advisors are really what creates when we can issue and sell bonds and when we need to open those.
Well, and this will help with the capacity problem that you said before that happened really quickly with JRE.
Yes.
Yes. So this will help prevent that.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. You mentioned something about the configuration of the district and growing into a bigger town. What's the district doing about that?
In January of 23, the school board passed their strategic growth plan.
Okay.
And then I came on board in the summer of 2023, and we've continued to watch that every 6 months and really addressing the growth is staying where it is, and it has. Right. And so we are on track to split into 2 middle schools. We'll transition to a second middle school in 2026 when the new one opens at 407. And that very following year, in the fall of 27, we will transition to 2 high schools. Argyle ISD is already very unique in the fact that we have 2 high school campuses in the district, because the original Argyle High School was over at the 377 campus, which is where our middle schools currently reside.
Right.
And then the Canyon Falls campus over here is a full functioning high school. So we already have 2 full functioning high schools. We just adopted the zoning boundary map for middle school and high schools back in December.
Okay.
So that's all been set. It's on our website. So families can actually know now, if they're moving to the district, exactly which middle school and high school zone that their students would feed into as we get ready to make those transitions. And those transitions will allow us to have less than 1,200 students in our middle schools, and then we would have the 377 campus capacity is 1,300, and the campus over here at Canyon Falls is about 2,000. So the unique opportunities that 2 high schools will provide for our students is it will provide that we will have students involved in everything. We want all of our students to be involved in something, and the bigger we get, sometimes that's harder to do, and it's very important to this district that our students are involved in extracurricular activities, co-curricular activities outside of their core academic areas, and so those opportunities will be provided by students for students when we have 2 separate high schools for them to do so.
Oh, what great opportunities. I love that. Oh, I love that, because now you're looking at capacity of how many students per teacher, and then you're looking at the school district size. And Argyle, if people don't know about Argyle, Texas, you can drive through Argyle, Texas less than in 30 minutes. I mean, it's not that big. So what they're doing here is phenomenal, and how they're fighting to get everything together is just spacing everything out correctly too is just such a hard task. So hats off to you for learning and teaching us how to do that. I was like learning to teach us how to do that because that's hard for the community to understand sometimes. So thank you for being really transparent on everything. So let me ask you this. This is about like the heart of Argyle. There are people been here for years, decades, and then there are new people coming. And the culture is still coming together where it's one, you know? So could you talk a little bit about that?
We want to create excellent educational opportunities for students. We want to build them based on tradition and values. And those values are, you know, the small town feel, the integrity of this community. It's the faith, the family that everyone in this community stands by.
Oh, thank you. And I firmly believe that's why people are moving here. From the work that y'all are doing now to your mission statement, y'all are keeping with it. So thank you. Thanks for taking the time to
Absolutely.
meet with me and everybody else so they can learn more about you. Thank you again for watching. And remember, as always, you belong here.